Today, in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is very, not only current, but it is a most relevant topic in the present time. And the topic is mobile phone addiction. Put your phone down, your texts will be there later. The person in front of you won't. We are living in an era where capturing moments using our phones is more important than actually living these moments with whoever is beside us. A smartphone is an addictive device which traps a soul into a lifeless planet full of lives. A mobile phone, cellular phone, cell phone, hand phone is a portable telephone that can make and receive calls over a radio frequency link while the user is moving within a telephone service area. The radio frequency link establishes a connection to the switching systems of a mobile phone operator, which provides access to the public switched telephone network. Modern mobile telephone services use a cellular network architecture, and therefore mobile telephones are called cellular telephones or cell phones. In addition to telephony, digital mobile phones support a variety of other services such as text messaging, MMS, email, internet access, short-range wireless communications, infrared, Bluetooth, business applications, video games, and digital photography. Mobile phones offering all those capabilities are known as feature phones. Mobile phones which offer greatly advanced computing capabilities are referred to as smartphones. The first handheld cellular mobile phone was demonstrated by John F. Mitchell and Martin Cooper of Motorola in 1973 using a handset weighing 2 kilograms. The first commercial automated cellular network 1G analog was launched in Japan by Nippon Telegraph and Telephone in 1979. This was followed in 1981 by the simultaneous launch of Nordic Mobile Telephone NMT system in Denmark, Finland, Norway, and Sweden. Several other countries then followed in the early to mid-1980s. These first generation 1G systems could support for more simultaneous calls, but still used analog cellular technology. In 1983, the Dynatec 8000X was the first commercially available handheld mobile phone. India's telecommunication network is the second largest in the world by number of telephone users, both fixed and mobile phones, with 1171.80 million subscribers as on 31st October 2020. It has one of the lowest call tariffs in the world, enabled by mega telecom operators and hyper competition among them. As on 31st October 2020, India has the world's second largest internet user base with 734.82 million broadband internet subscribers in the country. As of 31st December 2018, India had a population of 130 crores, approximately 123 crore Aadhaar digital biometric identity cards, 121 crore mobile phones, 44.6 crores of are smartphones, 56 crores are the normal phones. Internet users up from 481 million people, that is 35% of the country's total population in December 2017, and 51% growth in e-commerce. In August 1995, then Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mr. Jyoti Basu, made the first mobile phone call in India to then Union Telecom Minister, Mr. Sukhram. 16 years later, 4G services were launched again in Kolkata in 2012. Problematic smartphone use is proposed by some researchers to be a form of psychological or behavioral dependence on cell phones closely related to other forms of digital media overuse, such as social media addiction or internet addiction disorder. Other researchers have stated that terminology relating to behavioral addictions in regard to smartphone use can cause additional problems both in research and estimation of users, suggesting the term to evolve to problematic smartphone use. Problematic use can include preoccupation with mobile communication, excessive money or time spent on mobile phones, and use of mobile phones in socially or physically inappropriate situations such as driving an automobile. Increased use can also lead to increased time on mobile communication, adverse effect on relationships, and anxiety if separated from a mobile phone, or sufficient signal technology is an ever growing and advancing industry that has changed the way we view and live in the modern world. Phones, which were once considered a luxury item, are now a necessity that can effectively control all aspects of our lives, including our banking, information, work life, credit, debit cards, and our social interactions, as well as with the presence of social media. Depression symptoms severity was negatively associated with greater social smartphone use. Process smartphone use was more strongly associated with problematic smartphone use. Finally, process smartphone use accounted for relationships between anxiety, severity, and problematic smartphone use. It is also known as smartphone overuse, smartphone addiction, mobile phone overuse, or cell phone dependency. Founded in current research on the adverse consequences of overusing technology, mobile phone overuse has been proposed as a subset of forms of digital addiction or digital dependence, reflecting increasing trends of compulsive behavior amongst users of technological devices. Researchers have variously termed these behaviors smartphone addiction and problematic smartphone use, as well as referring to use of non-smartphone mobile devices. Forms of technology addictions have been considered as diagnoses since the mid-1990s. Panova and Carbonell published a review in 2018 that specifically encouraged terminology of problematic use in regard of technology behaviors rather than continuing research based on other behavioral addictions. Unrestrained use of technological device may affect developmental, social, mental, and physical well-being and result in symptoms akin to other behavioral addictions. However, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders has not formally codified smartphone overuse as a diagnosis. Gaming disorder has been recognized in the International Classification of Disease. Varied changing recommendations are in part due to the lack of well-established evidences or expert consensus, that differing emphasis of the classification manuals, as well as difficulties utilizing animal models for behavioral addictions. Whilst published studies have shown associations between digital media use and mental health symptoms or diagnosis, causality has not been established, with nuances and caveats of researchers often misunderstood by the general public or misrepresented by the media. A systematic review of reviews published in 2019 concluded that evidence, although of mainly low to moderate quality, showed an association of screen time with poorer psychological health, including symptoms such as inattention, hyperactivity, low self-esteem, and behavioral issue in childhood and adolescence. Several studies have shown that females are more likely to overuse social media and males video games. This has led experts to suggest that digital media overuse may not be a unified phenomenon, with some calling to delineate proposed disorder based on individual online activity. Due to the lack of recognition and consciousness of the concepts, diagnosis and treatments are difficult to standardize or recommend, especially considering that new media has been subject to such moral panic. Overuse of mobile phones may be associated with negative outcome on mental and physical health, in addition to having an impact on how users interact socially. Some people are replacing face-to-face conversations with cyber ones. Clinical psychologist Lisa Marlowe says, Some patients pretend to talk on the phone or fiddle with apps to avoid eye contact or other interactions at a party. Furthermore, 70% check their phones in morning within an hour of getting up. 56% check their phones before going to bed. 48% check their phones over the weekend. 51% constantly check their phones during vacation. 44% reported that they would feel very anxious and irritable if they did not interact with their phones within a week. This change in style from face-to-face to text-based conversation has also been observed by Sherry Turkle. Her work cites connectivity as an important trigger of social behavior change regarding communication. Therefore, this adoption of communicating is not caused only by the phone itself. In her book, Alone Together, Why We Expect More from Technology and Less from Each Other, Turkle argues that people now find ourselves in a state of continual co-presence. This means that digital communication allows the occurrence of two or more realities in the same place and time. Subsequently, person also live in a world of continual partial attention. The process of paying simultaneous attention to a number of sources of incoming information, but at a superficial level. Bombarded with an abundance of email, text, messages, people not only find themselves divesting people of their human characteristics or individuality, but also increasingly treating them as digital units. This is often referred to as a depersonalization. According to Elliot Berkman, a psychology professor at the University of Oregon, the constant checking of phones is caused by reward learning and the fear of missing out. Berkman explains that habits are a product of reinforcement learning, one of our brain's most ancient and reliable systems, and people tend thus to develop habits of completing behaviors that have rewarded them in the past. For many, using mobile phones has been enjoyable in the past, leading to feel excited and positive when receives a notification from our phones. Berkman also irritates that people often check their smartphone to relieve the social pressure they place upon themselves to never miss out on exciting things. As Berkman says, smartphones can be an escape from boredom because they are a window into many worlds other than the one right in front of you, helping us feel included and involved in society. When people do not check their mobile phones, they are unable to satisfy this check habit or suppress the fear of missing out, leading to feel anxious and irritable. A survey conducted by Hajab M. Al-Favresh and Sajish Josh also found that people also often feel incomplete without their smartphones. Of the 66 respondents, 61.41% strongly agreed with the statement, I feel incomplete when my smartphone is not with me. Other implications of cell phones use in mental health symptoms were observed by Thomil et al. In Sweden. This study found a relationship between report of mental health and perceived stress of participant accessibility, which is defined as the possibility to be disturbed at any moment of day or night. Critics of smartphones have especially raised concerns about effects on youth. The presence of a smartphone in everyday life may affect social interactions amongst teenagers. Present evidence shows that smartphones are not only decreasing face-to-face social interactions between teenagers, but are also making the youth less likely to talk to adults. In a study produced by Dr. Leela Grain at Edith Cowan University, researchers discovered that the growing use of mobile technologies implies a progressive digital colonization of children's lives, reshaping the interactions of younger adults. Face-to-face interactions have decreased because of the increase in shared interactions via social media, mobile video sharing, and digital instant messaging. Critics believe the primary concern in this shift is that youth are inhibiting themselves of constructive social interactions and emotional practice. And engaging in a strict digital world may isolate individuals, causing lack of social and emotional development. Other studies shows that there is actually a positive social aspect from smartphone use. So I am now talking about the positive aspect of smartphone use. A study on whether smartphone presence changed response to social stress conducted an experiment with 148 males and females around the age of 20. Participants were split up into 3 groups, where first group phones was present and use was encouraged. Number 2, phone was present with use restricted, and number 3, no phones access. They were exposed to a peer social exclusion stressor and saliva samples measuring levels of alpha amylase, SAA, or stressor hormones were measured throughout. The results shows that both of the phone present groups had lower levels of SAA and cortisol than the group without a phone, thus suggesting that the presence of a smartphone, even if it is not being used, can decrease the negative effect of social exclusion. Now, to discuss today's very, very important, relevant topic, the mobile phone addiction, we have a very vast, I must say, the panel who are from the different sects of the society. They are representing different profession, and they are expert in their own fields. I would like to invite my first panelist, and he is Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is the senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. Dr. Rajiv Anand passed his MBBS in 1976 and did MD in psychiatry in 1980 from King George's Medical College, Lucknow. He opted to serve his country when it was very common to settle abroad for a brighter future. He has been serving society with his base in Mumbai. He has clients all over India as well as in many other countries. He was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by AMA. He has conducted more than 3,000 workshops for different groups and companies with audience size of 10 to 800. His television program on various channels have been widely appreciated for his forthright and practical approach. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 40 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows in domestic and internationally. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv Anand, on our show. Dr. Rajiv Anand, you are a senior psychiatrist and you are seeing the cases where the people are coming to you because of the mobile phone addiction. And basically the complaints are mainly from the parent side. But you as a senior psychiatrist, we would like to know your views on the mobile phone addiction. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Lal. Thank you for the kind words. Welcome to a good team of speakers today. Nikki Mernalani from Pune, Vibha from Bombay, Molly from Pune, and Dr. Pooja Dimri from Singapore. And most of these panelists today, they are being changed for the last few months to come on this show. And only today we could succeed to have them on board after many months of pursuing them doggedly. Anyway, today's topic, unlike the past topics which we have been having over the last 1 year, courtesy Mr. Lal's untiring affairs, other topics would have concerned one particular state, Karnataka or Kerala or UP or Bihar or other part of the country, but today's topic cuts all boundaries. आज का टॉपिक ऐसा है जो हर किसी इंसान के लिए जरूरी है जानना कि वो एडिक्ट है या नहीं है. आई एम श्योर कि कैमरे में नजर नहीं आ रहा है, लेकिन मिस्टर लाल के पास भी कम से कम 1 या 2 फोन टेबल पर सामने होंगे और वो जरूर बीच में चेक करेंगे. और मेरे पास भी 2 फोन हैं मेरे सामने मेरे टेबल पर, और मैं भी शायद बीच में कभी चेक करूंगा, और मैंने किया भी है 10 मिनट पहले तक. तो काफी लोग कह सकते हैं कि व्हाट द हेल डॉक्टर आनंद, यू आर गिविंग स्पीच एंड यू योरसेल्फ एडिक्ट. लोग मुझे भी कह सकते हैं कि भाई मैं एडिक्ट हूँ. अब ये सफाई मुझे देनी पड़ेगी कि एडिक्ट कौन है या कौन नहीं है. ये एक्सप्लेनेशन बहुत जरूरी है, किसको हम एडिक्ट कहेंगे और किसको एडिक्ट नहीं कहेंगे. बाय क्वालिफिकेशन आई मे बी एमडी इन साइकियाट्री, but much before that, much after that, I'm a human being and a simple human being who have an interest in the human behavior. तो मैं human behavior की nuances को बहुत नजदीक से ऑब्जर्व करने की कोशिश करता हूँ. मुझे बहुत गौर से देखनी है निकी कि क्या बोलने वाला हूँ. तो मैं I try to find out कि how human behavior get attracted towards certain thing. आप बताइए, आप में से कोई भी सोच कर देखिए कि अब तक की ह्यूमन सिविलाइजेशन में अब तक के एडवांसमेंट में, अब तक की टेक्नोलॉजी का एडवांसमेंट में क्या कोई ऐसा इंस्ट्रूमेंट आया था जिसने एक ही चीज में हमको बैंक भी दिया हो, वीडियो कैमरा भी दिया हो, ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग की फैसिलिटी भी दी हो, कैलेंडर भी दिया हो, हमको कंप्यूटर भी दिया हो, हमको टेलीफोन भी दिया हो, हमको टेलीफोन इंडेक्स डायरी भी दी हो, हमको वॉच भी दी हो, म्यूजिक प्लेयर भी दिया हो, एनसाइक्लोपीडिया भी दिया हो, टीवी के, यूट्यूब के, हम 100 साल पहले तक के कोई भी अगर वीडियो होगा वो भी देख सकते हैं। हमारे पास बैंक को कांटेक्ट करने की, बैलेंस चेक करने की सुविधा हो, हमें बुक्स पढ़ने की भी सुविधा हो, हम जब चाहें जितनी बुक चाहें पढ़ सकते हैं, और उसमें मंदिर भी हो और हम पूजा भी कर सकते हैं और भजन भी कर सकते हैं, और हम कहीं के भी हिंदुस्तान के किसी मंदिर में जाकर दर्शन भी कर सकते हैं, आरती भी उतार सकते हैं, और हम अपने फादर का, मदर का, ग्रैंडफादर का एल्बम भी उसमें सजा के रख सकते हैं। अब तक कोई ऐसी चीज आई थी? अगर हम ये कहते हैं कि हमारे बच्चों को एडिक्शन हो रहा है, ठीक है, कहने सुनने को हमें हक है उनको कहने का, मगर उससे पहले हम सोचें, हम में से कितने लोगों के पास हिम्मत है कि हम एक दिन मोबाइल फोन यूज नहीं करेंगे? हम में से कोई भी मान ले कि हम मोबाइल फोन एक दिन यूज नहीं करेंगे। मेरे पास बड़ी वेग एक एनालॉजी है, बड़ा वेग कंपैरिजन है। हम कहते हैं मोबाइल का एडिक्शन है, तो कल को आप ये भी कह सकते हैं कि मुझे घर में रहने का एडिक्शन है। मेरे घर में एक मंदिर भी है, मेरे घर में एक्सरसाइज की जगह भी है, मेरे घर में किचन भी है, मेरे घर में म्यूजिक सिस्टम भी है, मेरे घर में बुक्स का भी सेक्शन है, मेरे घर में रिलैक्सेशन सेक्शन भी है, मेरे घर में घर वालों से बात करने का भी है। मेरे पास 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 कंपार्टमेंट हैं, और मैं महीनों से घर से बाहर नहीं निकलता। तो क्या आप मुझे कहेंगे कि मैं होम एडिक्ट हो गया हूँ? नहीं। मैं अपने घर की डिफरेंट कंपार्टमेंट को डिफरेंट टाइम पर जुडिशियस वे में, बैलेंस वे में यूज करता हूँ। मैं एडिक्ट नहीं हूँ। मैं घर में रहकर भी एडिक्ट नहीं हूँ। मैं खाना भी खाता हूँ डाइनिंग टेबल पर, मैं पूजा भी करता हूँ मंदिर में, मैं एक्सरसाइज भी कर लेता हूँ, मैं बुक्स भी पढ़ लेता हूँ, म्यूजिक भी सुन लेता हूँ, बाथरूम में भी जो जो काम है, किचन में भी। एडिक्ट मुझे कब कहा जाएगा? मैं घर में रहकर भी एडिक्ट हो सकता हूँ। मुझे कब कहा जाएगा? जब मैं अगर पूजा करने जाऊं और 2 घंटे तक वहां से ना निकलूं। हो सकता है हम में से कुछ लोग सुन रहे हो जो 1 घंटे 2 घंटे पूजा करने के आदी हैं। मेरा मेरा इरादा उनकी तरफ कुछ कहने का नहीं है। हाँ, अगर मैं बाथरूम में जाऊं और वो 1 घंटे तक ना निकलूं नहाकर, या मैं खाना खाने के टेबल पर बैठूं और मैं 1 डेढ़ घंटे तक टेबल से ना उठूं, या मैं एक्सरसाइज करूं और 2 घंटे एक्सरसाइज करूं, हम लोग उनको यूजुअली एडिक्ट नहीं कहते, मगर कुछ तो वो हैं हमारे शब्दों के पास जिनको कहा जा सकता है कि उनकी लाइफ में बैलेंस नहीं है। तो जब ये हमारी जिंदगी में आया पिछले 15-20 साल में स्मार्टफोन, और उसमें एक के बाद टेक्नोलॉजी का एडवांसमेंट होते गए, तो हमारी डिपेंडेंस कहिए, ये हमारा उसको यूज करने की जरूरत कहिए, दिन पर दिन बढ़ती चलेगी। क्या गलत है? हम में से कितने लोगों के पास हमारे बैक हैंड पर कोई सर्वेंट खड़ा है जो हमको अभी बता दे कि बैंक में बैलेंस कितना है, या कोई बता दे कि हमारा रिश्तेदार वहां पर क्या कर रहा है, हमें उससे बात करनी है, कनेक्ट कराओ। एक ऐसा असिस्टेंट आया जिसने हमारी बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व किया, और हम उसको जुडिशियस यूज करते हैं। आज मेरा बोलने का टोन थोड़ा अलग है और वीक से, क्योंकि यूजुअली हम लोगों ने मोबाइल फोन को इतना ब्लेम किया है, इतना ब्लेम किया है कि हम लोग, बड़े लोग भी उसको यूज करने से थोड़ा झिझकते हैं कि हम एडिक्ट तो नहीं है। नहीं, हम एडिक्ट नहीं है। अगर हमारे पास कैपेसिटी है उसको सही तरीके से यूज करने की, तो हम एडिक्ट नहीं है। जैसा कि हम कोशिश करते हैं दूसरों को बताने से पहले, मेरे हाथ में फोन नहीं है, एंड 99% टाइम मेरे हाथ में फोन नहीं रहता। रेस्टोरेंट में, पार्टीज में, ट्रेन में, कई बार मेरे कुछ फोन खो भी चुके हैं मेरी इस आदत की वजह से, कि कभी ट्रेन में भूल गए, ऑटो में भूल गए, टैक्सी भूल गए, वो माइनर बात है। लेकिन मैं हाथ में फोन नहीं रखता। मुझे उस फोन से इतना प्यार नहीं है कि वो मेरे हाथ में रहे। मुझे उस फोन से इतना प्यार भी नहीं है कि मेरे आगे फ्रंट पॉकेट में रहे। और मुझे उस फोन से इतना प्यार भी नहीं है कि 24 घंटे में मेरे पास कुछ ऐसा समय ना हो जब बिना फोन के रह ना सकता हूँ। तो हम लोग जो बड़े लोग हो गए हैं, हम लोगों ने सेल्फ रेगुलेशन सीखा है। खाना खाना है, खाना खाना है, ठीक है, जरूरत पड़ी चेक कर लिया, किसी का मैसेज आया, बाकी खाना खाना है। बुक पढ़नी है तो बुक पढ़नी है, उस समय मोबाइल नहीं चेक करना है। नहाने गए हैं, ठीक है, मोबाइल अगर ले भी गए हैं, कोई अर्जेंट फोन आएगा तो बता देंगे, नहीं तो बोल देंगे बाद में करेंगे। मैं इस समय वेबिनार में आप सब लोगों के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ। इस समय अगर कोई फोन आएगा, मैंने उसको पहले ही म्यूट पर रखा हुआ है। फिर भी कोई अगर आएगा तो उसको बोल दूंगा, आई कैन नॉट अटेंड योर कॉल, प्लीज सेंड मी द मैसेज। ये मेरे ऊपर है कि मैं उस इतने अच्छे टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांस गैजेट का किस तरह यूज करता हूँ। अब काफी लोग कहेंगे कि आपकी एज जो भी है, क्यों बताऊं मैं सबको मेरी एज कितनी है, 25 साल की है। कोई कहे कि भाई आपकी उम्र में आपके पास ये सेल्फ रेगुलेशन है, लेकिन वो जो 20 साल वाला बच्चा है या 15 साल वाला बच्चा है वो क्या करे? तो उसका रोल मॉडल कौन है? उसका रोल मॉडल उसकी मम्मी है, उसके पापा हैं। क्या ऐसा नहीं देख रहे हैं हम लोग कि हमारे बच्चों के पास जो टॉयज हैं आजकल, उसमें एक फेमस टॉय है मोबाइल फोन। हर बच्चे को मोबाइल फोन, और वो हाथ में लग के हेलो 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 करते रहते। कहाँ से सीखा है? क्योंकि उन्होंने हमें देखा है कि आज की तारीख में हमारा हस्बैंड, हमारी वाइफ उतने हमें प्रिय नहीं है जितना मोबाइल है। हमने हस्बैंड को, वाइफ को, सबको बोल रखा है, यू डेयर नॉट टच माई मोबाइल फोन। आप मेरे मोबाइल फोन को हाथ नहीं लगाएंगे, उसके आगे मैं कुछ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ। हम लोगों ने मोबाइल फोन को इतना प्यार किया है, शायद उससे ही शादी कर ली है। मोबाइल फोन के बिना हम रह नहीं सकते, मोबाइल फोन हम कहीं जा नहीं सकते। बाथरूम हुआ, नहाना हुआ, पार्टी हुई, लंच हुआ, डिनर हुआ, किटी हुई। किटी में भी मैंने देखा है, जैसे मैंने कहा कि मैं ह्यूमन बिहेवियर को ऑब्जर्व करता हूँ, मैंने किटी पार्टी में भी देखा है कि अगर 15 लेडीज किटी पार्टी में बात कर रही हैं, बीच में सबके सब बोले जा रहे हैं और हर 5 मिनट मोबाइल फोन भी चेक कर रहे हैं। मैंने बहुत सारे फाइन डाइनिंग रेस्टोरेंट में देखा है कि बॉयफ्रेंड गर्लफ्रेंड, ये हस्बैंड वाइफ दोनों एक दूसरे के सामने बैठे हैं और दोनों अपने जो मोबाइल पर हैं। तो मुझे सोचना पड़ता है कि जाके पूछूं उनसे कि भाई साहब आप यहाँ आए किस लिए हैं? अगर मोबाइल फोन देखने आए हैं या स्टारबक में या कॉफी शॉप में, तो आप घर में देख लेते, यहाँ एक दूसरे को सामने अपने अपने मोबाइल में खोए हुए हैं। तो कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम में से जो लोग कहते हैं कि बच्चे हमसे सीखते हैं, हमको देखकर बिगड़ते हैं, कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कि हम में से कुछ लोग बिगड़ते जा रहे हैं और भूल गए हैं कि कहाँ सेल्फ रेगुलेशन होना है, कहाँ हमें आत्मनिर्भर नहीं आत्म संयमता लानी है, कहाँ पर हमें सोचना है कि वो चीज जो हमारी मदद के लिए थी, वो चीज कहीं हमारी जिंदगी में रुकावट तो नहीं डाल रही है। और हकीकत ये है कि डाल रही है। हम लोग मेडिकल वर्ड में, टेक्निकल वर्ड में उसे एडिक्शन कहें ना कहें, वो एक साइड इशू है। उस टॉपिक पर मिस्टर लाल ने काफी स्टडीज कोट की हैं जो दुनिया भर में हुई हैं, और काफी हद तक कुछ स्टडीज शायद सही भी होंगी। लेकिन उसका प्रैक्टिकल पहलू ये है कि अगर आपके पास पैसा भी है तो बहुत अच्छा है, अगर आपके पास बहुत सारे रुपए हैं, लेकिन अगर वो रुपए जेब से बाहर गिरे पड़ रहे हैं, कि आप जा रहे हैं और बाहर नोट बाहर गिरे पड़ रहे हैं, तो पैसा भी वो देखने में अश्लील लगेगा, ऑब्सीन लगेगा, खराब लगेगा कि भाई इतना पैसा है, संभाल के रखिए। आपकी कपड़ों से बाहर क्यों गिरे पड़ रहे हैं रुपए? अगर आपके पास अच्छी हाई एंड का मोबाइल भी है तो उसको संभाल के रखिए, उसको सही तरह यूज करिए। और ये इतना मुश्किल है नहीं। शायद मोबाइल फोन की जैसे जैसे क्वालिटी, जैसे जैसे उसकी ग्रेड, जैसे जैसे उसका स्टेटस वैल्यू बढ़ने लगी, लोगों ने फ्लॉन्ट करना शुरू कर दिया। अब ट्रेन में अगर आप जाइए, कहीं जाइए, तो इनके पास मोबाइल है। बस में जो लोग बस में पैसेंजर हैं, जो ऑटो में पैसेंजर हैं, मुझे लगता है कई बार के लोगों को एक अलग किस्म की, जिसको शायद बीमारी कहना भी जल्दी में ठीक नहीं होगा, एक अलग किस्म की शौक कहें। मोबाइल है तो यूज करना ही करना है, नहीं तो मोबाइल होने का फायदा क्या हुआ? तो इतने सारे लोग इतनी सारी छोटी छोटी बातों के लिए मोबाइल यूज करते हैं। जो बातें टेक्स्ट पर की जा सकती हैं, जो बातें 2 घंटे के बाद पूछी जा सकती हैं, आपने एक बात अभी पूछी, आपने फोन रखा और फिर आपको याद है, अरे ये पूछना भूल गए, तुरंत फोन कर लिया। आपने वो बात रखी, फिर आपको याद है, तुरंत तीसरी बार फोन कर लिया, बिना ये स्पेस दिए हुए, बिना ये रेस्पेक्ट किए हुए। सामने वाला आदमी हो सकता है कपड़े बदल रहा हो सकता है खाना खा रहा हो सकता है स्नान कर रहा हो, लेकिन नहीं, हमने मोबाइल का इतना दुरुपयोग किया है कि हमने दूसरों की आजादी को खत्म कर दिया है, दूसरे के प्रति सम्मान को खत्म कर दिया है। हमारे पास मोबाइल लाइसेंस से उसके घर में दर दड़ाते हुए उसके दिमाग में घुस जाने का और पूछने का सवाल कुछ भी, कभी भी 24 घंटे। सो तो नहीं रहे हो? अरे भाई 11 बजे आदमी सोएगा नहीं तो क्या करेगा? या बताओ उसको कि मैं नहा रहा हूं। तो मोबाइल को हमने एक मास्टर की बना लिया, और ये अभी शुरुआत है, इसलिए कि अभी ये पेनिट्रेशन बढ़ेगा। मैं आपको बड़ी हंसी की बात बताता हूँ। एक दिन रात को 1:30 बजे फोन आया है मेरे पास, साहब हम पटना से बोल रहे हैं। मैंने कहा बोलिए क्या करूं, मैं माला लेकर आऊं आपके गले में डालूं? बोले हम आपका प्रोग्राम देख रहे हैं टीवी पर रात के 1:30 बजे, हमें आपसे एक सवाल पूछना है। अरे भाई प्रोग्राम मेरा पहले का रिकॉर्डेड था, आप रात को 1:30 बजे देख रहे हैं? आप अभी जाके जिंदगी में इतने सालों के बाद आपको उस समय मुझसे सवाल पूछना है? मैं कहा नहीं भाई साहब, मैं सो रहा हूँ, मैं इस समय जवाब नहीं दे सकता। तो मोबाइल उनके हाथ में था, तो उनके पास लाइसेंस था ढूंढ ढांड के नंबर निकाल के रात के 1:30 बजे डॉक्टर को कांटेक्ट करना है कि हमें आपसे ये चीज डिस्कस कर रही है। तो मैं शायद इस बात को हल्के फुल्के अंदाज में थोड़ा हल्का किसी को लगेगा क्योंकि बैग में भी कह रहा हूँ, लेकिन हकीकत ये है कि अगर हम अपने कपड़ों को भी सही तरह नहीं पहनेंगे, तो भी हम अभद्र हो जाएंगे। हम अपने शब्दों को भी सही तरह यूज नहीं करेंगे तो भी हम समाज से बहिष्कृत हो जाएंगे। जिन लोगों को हिंदी बहिष्कृत सुनने में दिक्कत हो, शायद निक्की को नहीं होगी, विवाह को भी नहीं होगी, उत्तर भारतीय हैं, लेकिन बहिष्कृत आप बाइकआउट हो जाएंगे अगर आप अपने शब्दों को भी, कपड़ों को भी शालीनता से यूज नहीं करेंगे और दूसरों को सम्मान से यूज नहीं करेंगे तो लोग आपसे दूर हो जाएंगे। मोबाइल का भी वही हो रहा है। आपने मोबाइल पर बहुत सारे नंबर को ब्लॉक करना शुरू कर दिया है, बहुत सारे लोगों को लिखना शुरू कर दिया, वाइफ नंबर 1, वाइफ नंबर 2 वगैरह वगैरह। उसके आगे लोग बोलते हैं कि मतलब ये था कि वाइफ का फोन नंबर 1, वाइफ का फोन नंबर 2, लेकिन वो नंबर 2 में कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है। तो अभी आपने लोगों को ब्लॉक करना शुरू कर दिया है। मोबाइल का अगर यूज इस तरह ही बढ़ता रहा और हमने उसे सेल्फ रेगुलेट नहीं किया तो समाज में कितनी विकृतियां और कितना आगे बढ़ेगा और परिवार में कितनी दूरियां आएंगी, उसकी चर्चा पहले से मिस्टर गोयल कर चुके हैं। मैं उस पर आगे विस्तार में नहीं जाऊंगा। आई एम वेरी कीन। आज जो हम लोगों ने बड़ी मुश्किल से इन चारों महिलाओं को इकट्ठा किया है, ये अपने विचार बताए, सिंगापुर से लेकर, पुणे से लेकर बॉम्बे तक। ओवर टू यू मिस्टर लाल।
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajivanand. I will just make one comment because you have mentioned about me using the mobiles. So I also want to check up from you a free consultation. My total usage of mobile is about 13 hours. 2 hours is on laptop and 4 hours on TV. Out of 24 hours, out of 4 hours, I think 3.5 hours my sleep and half an hour for taking bath during my eating food, etc. So am I addict? Will you term me as addict of mobile? 13 hours?
सर मोबाइल तो उस डिजिटल वर्ड का एक किनारा है। आप घिरे तो हुए ना डिजिटल वर्ड से। मेरा संडे का प्रोग्राम इसी टॉपिक पर है, डिजिटल डिटॉक्स पर है। कि चाह कर ना चाह कर हमारे चारों तरफ डिजिटल वर्ड ने हमारी सांस को दी है। थोड़ा कम करके देखें, शायद हमें
see, I have to prepare the program. I have to contact every one of you. So I think I tried my best, but I could not reduce my screen time, especially mobile time of 13 hours. Anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Rajivanand. Today, I'm not going to summarize because we have to listen from all the panelists. So I am moving to my next panelist, and that is Dr. Pooja Sharma Jimri. Dr. Pooja Sharma is a renowned gynecologist and obstetrician at Singapore. Dr. Pooja Sharma, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned. And you have also heard the report, which I read, a long report, where the negative points were there, positive points were there, but the concluding only what I could guess is that not a single researcher could found out that there is a disease or any casualty has happened due to the overuse of mobile. And still the researches are going on because it might be the researchers are also using the mobile phone like I am also using the mobile phone. So they are not interested to give the adverse remark on that. Now we would like to know from you the mobile phone addiction. Dr. Pooja Sharma, please.
Hello all. Thank you, Goyalji, for inviting me, and Dr. Rajiv Anand. I was in Mumbai before I came to Singapore, so I have interacted a lot with Dr. Rajiv Anand, and it's a tall order to be speaking after a psychiatrist on this issue, but I will try. So as Goyalji has talked about the research, so I was also going through the papers written in journals. So as he correctly said, it is not classified as a behavioral, like as an addiction as bad as a substance addiction or alcohol addiction, but yes, maybe it is reaching there. It is a behavioral kind of addiction, and yes, there are plus points and minus points. So today I have a 13-year-old son, so I was talking to him about this topic first. So he said, what do you think? Because I feel, as all parents, that he is getting addicted to mobile because we give mobile to our children because to track them or for the sake of convenience. Not that I am the right person to talk about mobile addiction. So first question I asked myself was whether I am addicted to mobile or not, like whether I should speak on this topic or not. When I see my screen time, it is as bad as the screen time. So my son did some research for me and he sent me he made a small presentation and sent to me. So he said, so I will just read from that presentation. So the average screen time for adults on the mobile phone per se is around 4 hours per day. And I think I also reached there. So maybe the social media or, Googling, Wikipedia and all constitutes that. And so that 4 hours per day is like 1.5 months in a year. So if you think like that, I think it's quite a bit. So he asked me to ask the audience, my son, please check your screen time. And all our smartphones will give our screen time. So we should, analyze ourselves. How much is our screen time a day? Now, today I'm sitting here. I have a laptop in front of me. I have an iPad in which I was making notes, and I have a phone in my hand. So yes, we are in front of screens the whole day, not only children, but adults. But yes, as Dr. Rajiv Anand said, yes, we have to judge, are we actually overusing it? So yes, I will say there are certain positive points, as you say that it has become all in one now. The camera, the alarm clock, the calendar, the watch, the phone has replaced everything. So it has replaced. So I read a quote, which is very nice. So your cell phone has already replaced your camera, your calendar, your alarm clock. Don't let it replace your family. So here is where I will, where I and all of us have to, this is the limit. It should not replace your family. As we are talking, we are sitting in the restaurant with our family. We should not be on our phones, or we are going to a party, or we are interacting with our friends. That's where we have to stop somewhere. Other advantages, I'm sitting in Singapore. My mother is in Delhi. So the phone is one medium in which I can communicate. I can do a video call. And in COVID times, we have not been able to travel. The last time I traveled to India was more than a year back, in last January to 2020. So the way I can see my mother and she can see me is through the mobile phone, just through the digital world. And that has improved the communication in that sense. Of course, we have been communicating with our friends. And I think because of COVID, we started communicating even more. I think many people had more video calls in the last year than they had ever in their life. And I think we started communicating with people we hadn't communicated in the last 15 years. So those are the advantages. Now I travel by the MRT, which is the local, the train system here. And because of COVID, they say that you should not be talking through, even when you're wearing the mask, you should not be talking to other people. So I have a 40 minutes route to my hospital. So what do? I watch my Netflix. I watch a Korean drama on Netflix in that 40 minutes, and I spend my time. So yes, it has some advantages, but what we are talking is a disadvantage. Keep checking your phone all the time. Notifications coming. You check your Facebook, your WhatsApp, your Instagram, and sometimes it becomes over the top. Why do I check my phone? I'm bored. I check my phone. I'm tired. I check my phone. I'm feeling lonely. I check my phone. So you don't need. We have a lot of reasons to check our phone. Now when I was reading about this topic, there was an expert who was saying that are there some good apps and bad apps, bad apps like Instagram or Facebook or Twitter when you're unnecessarily on the social media, and what is a good app? Maybe email when you're getting your work email. But if you keep checking your email every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, it also becomes a bad app. So no app is good or bad. It is how we approach it and how you have to discipline yourself. And as Dr. Rajiv said correctly, you have to discipline yourself first before I talk to my son. And he gives this answer back. You are always on your phone as well. He gives me back, and I have no answer to that. So this is where we have to self-regulate before I teach my child. I have to regulate myself. So another very nice quote I read, that mobile phones. So we say we have reached out to many people. We are communicating with people who are far away from us. We are sitting in different parts of the world, and because of COVID, we have not been able to travel for the past year. So mobile phones make you closer to the person far from you, but takes you away from the person sitting next to you. So, and we see people wishing, I have no offense meant to anybody, but people wishing their children, their hubbies on Facebook when they may be, they're living with you in your home. So even if you're wishing your mother and all, instead of, calling, pick up the phone and call and talk to her, you're messaging on WhatsApp, wishing her happy birthday. So these are the things which I think we need to improve, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. So I'm nobody to give a sermon to anybody, but yes, this is what I think. What the other thing I read about is that it interrupts. Now, if you're constantly on the phone, the one disadvantage is that it interrupts your flow of thought. So you're thinking about something, even if I'm working or I'm thinking about a problem, if I keep checking my phone, it breaks my chain of thought. So that definitely will affect our productivity. We cannot follow one flow of thought. So intellectually, it makes us less productive if we are constantly checking. So I was reading about things what you can do. You can keep to a schedule. You should have a mobile-free period. These are the things I'm going to try to incorporate in my own life. turn off the notifications, which I have turned off. So only I only put on those notifications which are coming from work, emails or anything coming from work. Otherwise, I stop all notifications. You can check WhatsApp later. If somebody has an emergency, they can give you a call. I think that should be the thing. Distracting apps you can take off your screen. I read an interesting thing that there are certain apps which can make you accountable to yourself. The name of those apps are Quality Time or Moment. They can track your smartphone habits. So I've downloaded an app and I'll see how it works. Do not do everything on the same device. So do not keep everything. So if you are watching, you want to watch a show, you do it on your TV. If you want to read a book, do it on iPad. So that you're not on the same screen all the time. It will give you a gap. Get real, call people, try to meet them face to face instead of being on the social media. And kick your device out of the bedroom. Just once you go off to sleep, you should have a time. Okay, after 9 p.m., the phone is off. Charge it somewhere else. Don't charge it next to your bed. You can use an alarm clock instead of the phone. You can use a watch instead of the phone. So I'm wearing a watch now. So I use my watch to see time, not my phone. And then very interestingly, they said that you put a grayscale on your phone screen rather than the colorful apps which we see, which attract us all the time. So these are the things I am going to try. And for children, you have to be a role model yourself. Again, talk to the children. If I give my son an order, he's not going to follow. So talk to your children about why it is going to affect. It can affect their academics and why we are asking them to reduce or restrict their screen time. So talk to them so that they understand better, and then I think they will be more receptive to it. I think that's what I thought about this topic after talking to my own son. So these are the practical things I thought. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, for giving your views. One thing you have admitted that your son at the age of 13 knows far better, far more. The reason is very clear, the smartphone. Just think of the child about 40 years or 30 or 45 years back, of the 13 years old. Can he have these types of knowledge? No. So there are advantages. And you have mentioned about the watch. Yes, I also tried the same thing, but my smart watch always remind me the call is coming. I have to see the message comes, then again I have to see. So it goes the same thing. So I decided, no, it's better to keep my phone with me. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, for giving your very interesting and practical views about the addiction of mobile phone. And being a doctor also, it's very difficult for you to be away from the mobile, because the doctors always on call, so they always wanted anybody can call. That is a plus point today. Earlier, we know, being a doctor's son, I know that how Mr. Dr. Rajiv Anand knows there is a place called between Mathura and Agra called Fareh. We were going on the car. I'm talking of early 60s, and that railway, that crossing was there. They have closed the crossing, and the railway man has come, seeing our car. He says, "Doctor, please go back to the Mathura. There is a serious patient at your hospital." At that time, there was no mobile, so the person has got it to the railway station. From there, they have passed the message. So accordingly, they are the advantages which we are enjoying now also. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. Now I'm going to invite my next guest, and she is Miss Molly Gupta. Miss Molly Gupta is a restaurant owner, having restaurants at Nagpur, Pune, and soon opening at Alibag. She hails from the service industry and have working experience with renowned five-star hotel, a multinational telecom company, and e-commerce platform. She is a hotel management graduate and also holds a master's degree in human resource management. She is a strong homemaker and a doting mother. She is passionate about social causes which relate to women empowerment and education. In her free time, she loves to read and increase knowledge in various disciplines. Welcome, Ms. Molly Gupta, on our show. Ms. Molly Gupta, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand as well as Dr. Pooja Sharma has mentioned. Now, we would like to know from you, mobile phone addiction. Ms. Molly Gupta, please.
Thank you, Dr. Lal, for having me here today. Good morning to one and all. After listening to my fellow panelists, Dr. Anand and Dr. Dimri, I completely understand and resonate the thoughts The first thing when I was asked to be a part of this conference was the first question that came to my mind was whether I am also addicted to the mobile, because like all of us, we are spending, even I am spending many hours on the phone for work purposes, for personal interactions, and especially in the COVID days, it's more to keep in touch with your family. My husband's a sailor, so he's away on the sea. So that's the only way we communicate. And there's a time difference. So there are times when he could get in touch with me at midnight, late nights, wee hours. So my phone has to always be available 24/7. I am not, my work involves a 24/7 setup more likely. So again, and then there are kids and there are emergencies, there is family. So balancing all of that, after listening to Dr. Anand, I felt, yes, I do not really fall into the addiction category, but I could do few things which could reduce my screen time, especially my mobile, social media time, to be specific. So it could only be the work related thing, and where it's really related, involved with my immediate family, to keep in touch with them. But yes, until then, I also thought that I am very close to that addiction part of it. But like we millennials say, there is a fear of missing out, FOMO, that we have. So on the social media, we always want to check if I've uploaded a picture, I want to see how many on Facebook. So I want to see how many likes I've got, how many people have responded. There are times when friends, like Dr. Dimri mentioned, that your husband is sitting right next to you, but you are wishing happy anniversary on the Facebook platform. So these small things, if people reduce, this could account or become an addiction in later days. Setting an example for kids, I have a teenager, 15-year-old and a 10-year-old daughter. So now they also feel, and like Dr. Dimri rightly pointed, the kids observe and we lead by example, as Dr. Anand said. So we parents have a huge burden, or rather a responsibility, that we need to take care of what our actions are so our kids learn from that. And again, when I tell my child or my kids that this is not right, then I also need to make an effort to reduce that. So I am trying to work on that, but yes, it's difficult. It is a necessary evil, which gives us the good part of it also. I mean, it's a benefit as well to have a smartphone these days. Banking is done, my work-related apps are there, my calorie counter is there. So even my meditation videos are on YouTube. So all that helps me to have everything in one place. But yes, there is a way of reducing it. And I would be personally working on it, because at the end of the day, I do not want it to affect my family. I don't want the person sitting next to me, a family member, to feel that I'm giving more importance on the phone to somebody who's sitting far away from me. So these are steps which I personally think I would be working on. And I would suggest, I'm no expert in this field, but as a person who uses mobile phone or social media, this is what I can gather and I can suggest. Those would be my views. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gupta, for giving your views. Yes, what you are saying is correct, that the mobile phone is, in a positive way, we will see, is also very much useful for many, many things, but addiction of anything is bad. Thank you very much, Ms. Gupta. Now I'm inviting my next guest, and she is Miss Mrinalini Awasthi, preferred to be called Nikki. So I will call her Nikki only. Miss Nikki is a certified child psychologist with 15 plus years of corporate experience. She worked with Spastic Society of India, CRY, and Teach India. She is passionate about understanding and working with young children. She is also a budding play therapist, learning through play and playing to learn. Welcome, Nikki, on our show. Miss Nikki, you have heard Dr. Rajiv Anand, Dr. Sharma, Miss Molly Gupta, and they all have given their views about the addiction. And today's program, although we are not in a church or a place where there is a confession room is there, but people are confessing that they are addict and they want to be to improve their quality, right from everyone. So now we would like to know from you the mobile phone addiction. Miss Nikki, please.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. So today's topic, I'm going to be speaking about today's topic in context to children. So I'm going to be speaking about today's topic more from the context of children because I work with children mainly. And we're, I mean, in today's day and time of the pandemic, where we have now realized that there is a lot more dependency on the digital aspects and the devices. I would not really call it as mobile addiction. I would say it is more of a device addiction because like Dr. Dimri also said that, we break our time against the screens, the various devices that we have. And that is the same that even children are now learning to adapt. So when I'm speaking more on not just the physical aspects or the visible impacts of this addiction, but also the invisible and secretive impact, which is on the brain, the growing and the developing brain of the children. So, as at an infant stage, the children are exposed to the mobile device. Uh, First, obviously, to show them off to the distant families through the Zoom meetings and the video calls, etc. But also, the younger children are given the mobile device to keep them stationed in a place so that they're not becoming a hindrance or they're not becoming naughty. And it also helps the caretaker or the parent to get a few minutes of peace or get around with their chores and not having to get disturbed. Now, in the newer age, the device has become like a technological nanny, right? Helps keep the child entertained, keeps the child occupied, and gets the task completed. Now, this task could be anything from ranging with, getting the meal done because meal time becomes associated with the device, or with helping the mom get through her chores of the day or her work, or a father having to survive a family dinner without any tantrums. Now, this continues on across time and through different ages of growing. However, for the older children, now the school has come onto the device itself, so there's no escaping that. Post-schooling, however, they are encouraged to continue being on a device. This could be in context to the parents wanting a little, quiet time during their important meeting or conference, or the teachers encouraging them to go through various links and what would you say, various links references for doing their project or work like that, etc. However, in terms of this, why do children get into this? They're not born with the device, and it's not just imitation. So, what makes a child want to go towards a device? Whenever we do something, our body secretes something called as a happy hormone, which I like to call ha ho, right? So that makes us go ha ha and ho ho, enjoy. Now, whenever you are doing something that makes you happy,
Yeah.
you're
Again, I think you have to keep it.
okay. So
Yeah.
whenever you're doing something, where your soul starts to smile and your eyes sparkle, it is the ha ho which is flowing through your system and creating that impact of joy and happiness. Now, for the child, the mobile soon starts to get associated with this feeling of happiness. The tummy is full, which is I actually associated now with the mobile phone. So when I am with the mobile phone, I am happy because my tummy is full. Or the music from the rhyme which makes her dance, so that makes her go ha ha ho ho. So we have that aspect as well. And slowly over a period of time, these instances and situations start to get associated with this device. And the buzz that comes from this ha ho eventually is attributed to the 5.5-inch screen. Till it is limited to small moments, as is mentioned by everyone about self-discipline, like Dr. Anand said, it's okay. But then everyone wants to be happy all the time, right? And in the quest for staying in a state of elation, the instances and durations start to increase. Now, if someone tries to take your reason of happiness away, you tend to put up a resistance or you get frustrated. And that is the same with children. When you try to take that away, something that they associate their ha ho moments with, they are obviously going to get upset and frustrated. And this, the parents, caretakers like to term as temper tantrums. Now, this is when you know that addiction is starting to set in. Now, while the brain is creating the ha-ho, there's also another part of the brain which is feeling out of place. Now, whenever a child is exposed to the fast moving pictures, the sudden zoom in, and the loud music, it activates the emotional brain. Now, this, as they are unable to comprehend and keep up with the pace, they start to be like a lost child, which would be irritable, frustrated, and eventually destructive. And since the brain is abuzz with all the activity, they have become hyperactive because they're constantly craving that buzz. Now, this buzz becomes difficult to find in the real, which now they call as a slow world. And they spend more time with the device, finding different ways and channels to keep the buzz on and the ha-ho flowing. Now, also as mentioned by everyone else, it also attributes to the point of feeling important, you know, thinking intellectual. As children, they are already imitating adults. So, even they want to feel like I'm so important and I'm not just going to be dancing on nursery rhymes. So they are spending more and more time and maybe getting, trying to be more intellectual, more wanted, and getting into areas which is not of their age. So as Mr. Goel has pointed out, there are various effects which take place. They become distant from the real world. They become less communicative and less expressive. And over a period of time, they obviously become emotionally redundant. So where they have a decline in empathy and hence, developing relations becomes an issue. And there's a development more towards the narcissist attitude and behavior. In the much younger children, because they have unspent energy, which they are naturally born with, you have a displacement of energy taking place, which could be more towards the detrimental kind and harmful. And eventually, that can lead to a lot of behavioral issues. So, as has been discussed by many others, how do we handle this with our children? Now, with some of the parents who have come to me with early behavioral concerns of their children, I ask them to work on dissociation and rechannelizing. As I mentioned before, over a period of time, the device has become a ha-ho moment for them. So, dissociating the device from that moment, giving them different options and channels where they can feel that same buzz, that same ha-ho, without having that device in front of them. Um, I'll give an example of my own child. When my child was growing up, I used to play the Preeti Sagar nursery rhymes for him on the CD player. And that was something that, used to give him a major kick. The same thing, parents now like to do it on YouTube, but I did it with a CD player, and my child is 8 years old now, so I'm not that archaic. But he had his moment, he had his fun, he was with free play, and he also had that buzz which was going on because he was trying to imitate or do something which was being spoken about. Even through the times when we travel or when we are out for meals, etc., I earlier in his baby bag and now in my handbag, I always carry some puzzles and toys, small toys for him, and I let him develop a storyline or something. So that creative juice which is flowing also adds to that ha-ho flow which is already happening. And his stories, which I have eventually, some of them I have recorded and I've kept, and we laugh on them sometimes, has helped him to develop so much that even now when he has online schooling going on, he's not really addicted or keen on that screen. On my case, I have the opposite. In fact, my son doesn't want to sit in front of the screen. So I have to discipline him to sit there for the duration of the class. And as soon as class is done, he wants to just run and go back to his Lego and his creation. So it's more about how parents have to channelize or work this idea. I'm not against my son being on the phone. And even with the other children who have come, I've spoken to a couple of them. You know, the thing is either we see the child on phone and then we reprimand them, or we just take it away from them. In both cases, we end up agitating them. So how about, letting them allow that time, but doing it together. And in fact, you cannot deny a mobile or a device has to be a part of our life now. So you have to accept it. And but it's how, like Dr. Anand said, how we use it. The discipline that we show, we as adults, will be what our children will grow with. And if we are able to keep our important meeting and our important mails or message to the limit and then keep the phone aside, our children are also going to be doing the same. And I think more importantly, allowing them to understand. Of course, as every person says, children are now much more intellectual than they were a decade or so ago. So they are also more adept to understanding the same. And if we are able to bring in this sense of discipline in ourselves, in our entity, in our home, the children are going to do what they are most, proficient at, which is to discover, to ideate, and to grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nikki, for giving your views. And I am also going to check up my HAO hormones. I am sure that my HAO hormones are far more. That's why I'm using 13 hours on this. Other hormones are not coming. That's why HAO hormones I'm enjoying. I'm sure Dr. Rajiv Anand also enjoys. So there is no need of addiction about this. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Ms. C.A. Vibhajan. C.A. Vibhajan is a chartered accountant based at Mumbai. She started her career in 2005. In last 16 years, she has been part of Tier 1 CA firm in India, established her own practice. She is associated with various management colleges and institutes of chartered accountants of India as a general management and soft skill trainer. She loves cooking, dancing, and traveling. Miss CA Vibhajan, you have heard Dr. Rajiv Anand, you have heard Dr. Pooja Sharma, you have heard Miss Molly Gupta, you have heard Miss Nikki, and everyone has given their views. Now we would like to know from you, your views, mobile phone addiction. CA Vibhajan, please.
So good morning all. Thank you, Mr. Goel, for giving this platform to communicate and to actually have an enriching knowledge base today. I mean, although as we say that in today's scenario, mobile is an integral part of our living being. We have everything in our hand, be it as rightly said by Dr. Rajiv Anand, by Dr. Mrinalini, by Dr. Dimri, by Ms. Molly Gupta, that mobile is something that we actually is the second personality of ours today, to be very honest, because we use it in our workplace, we use it for our personal space, we use it for the safety of our kids, we use it to interact with our parents who are sitting far away as of now in these COVID times, wherein we could realize, how much important this particular thing could be. But then after listening to everybody, there were few things which came to my mind, that are we talking about habit or are we talking about addiction? So it is habit versus addiction. Are we talking about a glass full or we are talking about a glass half empty? So every I mean, as we know that coin has two sides. One is a positive side and one is a negative side. And while listening to everybody, I could make out very clearly that everybody have a positive aspect to it. And also at the same time, we are talking about the negative aspect to it. So as Dr. Dimri told that she has a teenage son, who's 13. So I have a teenage daughter who recently turned 13. And when I was discussing this particular topic with her, she gave me a list. So although I wanted her to speak, but her online school is going on. And then she said, okay, Mama, I'll give you my list of things wherein I'll tell you whether mobile is utilization of time or whether it is a wastage of time. So I'll read out what she has written. Phone used for entertainment, she says, not wasting time. Phone used for contacting family and friends, she says, not wasting time. Phone used to dodge something important is wasting time. It all depends upon you. So a person living in a small place wanting is a use of phone, thus not wasting time. Old people keep contact with children using phones, thus useful, not wasting time. A kid uses phone to play games, quizzes, and other educative games, along with non-educated to pass time while parent time. A businessman or woman could use phone to contact clients and colleagues, not wasting time. People that want to showcase their talent can do it on phone through social media. People can learn about new things with phones all the time. People can see the news without having to find a channel. People can use various apps such as Google Maps while traveling and you're not knowing a place, thus not wasting time. So in the end, she said that it is all about awareness, whether we are aware that whether we are using a phone which is useful for us or it's a wastage of time. So another example to it is, so since I have been into corporate world for last 15 years, for me, my personal phone and my business phone has been one. My laptop has been replaced, frankly, with Outlook being on my phone. I check my mails on my phone. To be very honest, when I move through various social networking sites, I do a lot of business development through that, wherein I know the personal aspect of my to-be customer, to-be clients, wherein, to strike a conversation, I use those notes wherein, whether that person likes trekking or that particular person likes traveling. So we know that there are certain interests which are common, and we can, start interacting through those key pointers and then probably go further. So, while we are discussing the corporate world, the family front, the child scenario, so while in our offices, and as I said, that I have also been into practice. So these mobile phones had been a very big concern for me, wherein I wanted, my people, my colleague working, and they are not distracted by these things at their work phones. But then at the end of the day, yes, I do agree there is a fall in performance due to that. They, miss out on the deadlines sometimes, but then contemplating whether they should be having their phones in hand during working hours is a good positive way to work, to gain that attention, the amount of attention they should be giving to the workplace. Or am I being too strict, or I'm being too harsh by, not letting do their thing, because there are adults, they know what is correct, they know what is wrong. But having said that, as I already said earlier, that looking at a particular thing as half empty and half full is two sides of the coin. Now, coming towards the aspect of my daughter, as I said, so to be very honest, as a working parent, I gave my daughter the phone in a very early stage of her life. Now, if I complain today that she is probably wasting time by sitting on phone, but then on the same time, she figures out so many new apps, she figures out so many systems a particular phone has. So she is developing that inquisitiveness in her, which is technology driven. Probably she would be able to identify the career path or probably her interests, which she would want to pursue when going further in her life. But lack of time, wherein she's sitting on phone while she's immediately distracted by a WhatsApp which she receives from a friend, and she probably doing something constructive, turns into something which is not constructive. And especially this COVID time has been really harsh on kids, wherein they were not allowed to move out of the house, they had to sit in house, they could not go to their school. They are doing school online, wherein they have slowly and gradually, in case of my daughter, what I observed, that slowly and gradually she's losing contact with her friends. So it was us, we made her, you should chat on, phone with your friends. Probably you can connect through Instagram, you should connect through Facebook. But as parent, I mean, I guess Dr. Awasthi would be in a better position to comment upon that whether it's a right practice or whether it's an incorrect practice. But as a parent of a 13, yeah.
Sorry, there's no Dr. Awasthi, Dr. Anand.
No, Nalini Awasthi I was talking about.
Okay. She's not. Are you doctor?
Okay.
No.
Okay, my bad.
Please, so
Yeah.
no problem. Right.
So it was about Ms. Awasthi, wherein she was talking about as a child, I mean, when she works with children upon that. So whether it's a way correct, and Dr. Anand as well, I mean, probably they would be better in a position to tell as a parent when we introduce such technology to our kids, which is all around us, that whether we are working correctly or we are working incorrectly, or what should be parenting be all about. So directly or indirectly, we are letting our kids inculcate a habit of a phone, and eventually when they get into that, we say they're getting addicted. So how to justify that is, frankly, as a parent, I really do not know. But for me, if she's connecting with her grandparents who are sitting out of Delhi and Bangalore, if she's connecting with her friends who are not meeting because there is no physical school for them, I think somewhere for her mental health, her emotional health, it is helping her out. But yes, when we all three of us, I mean, my husband, I have only daughter, when three of us sit together on a dining table, and at that point of time, if all three of us are busy on our phone and not interacting with each other, so that is where the concern should be. And I'll be very, very honest. I'll be very, very honest on that. There are days wherein we do that. I mean, out of habit probably. But we do try to be aware of the fact that we should not be doing that. So during lockdown also, I mean, my parents are in Bangalore, my husband's parents are in Delhi. We could not meet. We have not met for, I mean, I have not met with my parents for the last 2 years. But the video calls is a big respite, that emotional health to keep upon. So as I would, I mean, I'll just conclude by saying a particular line which I found on, again, Google, that being empowered with technology is good, but we should not get subjected by it. So, I mean, this is something which I would conclude with.
Thank you very much, Ms. C.A. Vibha Jain, for your very, very positive side, which you have mentioned. And yes, you have raised a very important question, whether the parenting, because the parents are giving in a very early age of the child, and that is for the convenience of the parents, not the child convenience, because the child was not knowing about the smartphone or the phone, but because the parents wants their me time. They want that they should spend their own me time. So they are basically doing this thing. They are inculcating the habit of using the smartphone in the child, a small child. Thank you very much, Ms. Vibha Jain. Now my question goes to Dr. Rajiv Anand, please. Dr. Rajiv Anand, everybody spoke and you have also spoken. Let's take it, it's a addiction. Yes, it is addiction. Forget about the children right now, because children are addicted, as everybody knows, because of the parents. Once the parents are de-addicted, gradually they can tell how to de-addict the parents. As you have mentioned that you have seen in the kitty party, although the kitty parties are supposed to be the ladies, how Dr. Rajiv Anand was there, I don't know. But anyway, when you were there and you attended that kitty party, you found that everybody is talking on the phone. So how you suggest, and as per my report, the women are more addicted to the mobile phones. Men are also, but men are for the play games, but the women are for the social media. So what is your opinion as a psychiatrist? How they can be de-addicted so that the entire family can be? Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lal, for the question, which is bugging almost every mind, whether mother or father or any relative. And we often burst out on the kids for allegedly excessive use of mobile or any other digital device without having been ready with a concrete answer how much and when not to. So first I would like to address that question, whether when Vibha asked whether I'm right or not. So one simple answer is that Vibha, as a mother, every girl has got very strong instinct of motherhood to judge whether the son or the daughter is on the right path or not. Their behavior, their language, their countenance, their disposition, the interaction with the mother or the father reveals a lot about whether they are on the right path or not.